Hey guys, Kelade here. Welcome to my Mythic Orgozoa kill/commentary video. For this fight, we are just going to be charging with all of our cooldowns, right? We don't need to worry about saving anything right now. Pop that on my pull. As far as for talents for this fight, I am using Endless Rage, Double Time, Sudden Death, Warpaint, Carnage, Dragon Roar, and Siegebreaker. And then as far as the essence is concerned, I am using Blooded Enemy rank 3 as the major and Purification Protocol rank 3 as the minor. Now, the thing with Purification Protocol is that it does more damage to aberrations. And what are all the mobs in this fight? They're all aberrations, right? So you're dealing 50% more damage. Plus, it does do pretty good AoE damage to the ads too. So right here on our first set of ads, so after the initial pull where we use all of our cooldowns, we are basically going to always be using our cooldowns now, at least in the first phase with all the ads, right? So you guys saw right there, that second Siegebreaker, I used it with the boss and the ads. The other thing to know for your Whirlwind Cleave, so whenever you like cleave abilities with your Whirlwind, it cleaves a 360 around you. So if the ads are tanked, how we tank them like behind melee, you can definitely just face the boss, right? And still get your Whirlwind Cleave. It'll do all the 360 around you, right? And then just be careful. Sometimes that one ad you see coming out from the right, it always arrives a little bit later than the others. And if it's kind of like still in the air, then your abilities won't hit it. Like, cause I'm looking straight down. So it's not always super easy to tell when that's happening, right? But yeah, that's it. The other thing that will do really good damage for you on this fight is obviously if you have the Jaina trinket from Battle of the Zara lore, that still is probably one of the best AoE trinkets in the game for Fury. So if you have that, definitely try to use that, especially if you have a high eye level with it. Right here, of course, make sure when the ads die, they drop the blue pools. Those are going to be soaked by your tanks as they swap off the boss. Just make sure that you don't stand on those because you will die with those, right? So right here, when I have all my cooldowns up again, right, Miraculousness and Blooded Enemy, that's also when I do pop my second potion. Biggest reason why we're popping here, even though it's not the highest overall fight damage, we do want to push this boss fast enough to where we're not up here for so long, right? Because when you're on top for so long, you're going to get that debuff on everybody, and then it's just going to be a little bit too much overall rate healing, right? So the incubation fluid is the debuff I'm talking about. As far as for like doing really well on this final DPS, what you really want to happen is just kind of pray to the RNG gods, right? Just pray that you don't get the debuff, because unless you're making a mistake, the boss will just put out like 2 or 3 debuffs every time he casts the ability to any random person in the raid. Another way that you can get it is if people mess up and they don't spread for that arcing current. If they don't spread for that, you can chain the currents to everybody, and everybody that gets chained with the current will take debuff. If that happens, your raid basically wipes, right? So right here, he casted Incubation Fluid. Unfortunately, I got picked. And then with the Arcing Current, you just kind of walk out here, stand off by yourself. I think the range is like 5 yards. Get over there, spread yourself, make sure you don't spread it, come back, and start AoEing. The problem becomes when you do get the, the Incubation Fluid early on, it does mess up with your cooldown times a little bit, because like your Siegebreaker will come back on cooldown, everything else come back out of cooldown, and you have to watch out for the arcing currents, right? So that's something you have to be aware. So right now, I have all my cooldowns, but I'm not going to use them right now because I know arcing currents about to come out in like 2 seconds, right? So, or actually, he's going to do, I think, the fluid first. No, he's the arcing current. So I'm holding my cooldowns, right? I want to make sure I come out here first. And then, once I get to come back, I'll eventually use my cooldowns after this dribbling anchor ends, right? You don't want to use it here, because for this, you can't always guarantee you're in a spot where you can AoE the ads. But, once this is over, right, pop our cooldowns right here, and, we go to town the ads. As far as when I'm using my Razor Coral, I am using it with whatever, ideally right before I hit Blooded Enemy. That way it buffs, all of the Blooded Enemy, all of the Recklessness and Siegebreaker in it, just doing massive damage. So the other thing is, once you have the, the debuff, you are going to have to walk out for every single time you have, or the boss casts the arcing current. So just pay attention to that, right? Right there, we did have a call to kill those 3 ads first before we go down. These next set of 3 ads, it would be nice if we skip them, but it's okay. For those, we just leave them there, and then we're going to run down the ramp, and then we'll kill them eventually. But the reason why we killed that first 3 early on is because our tanks still had the debuff, right? When your tanks tank the boss, they get a debuff that reduces their damage taken, up to 100%. But if they get to 10 stacks, they'll die. So just watch out for that. Right here, just a nice heroic throw, right? It procs my Everchill Anchor. Your heroic throws can actually proc your Gatikus, by the way. So if you have that, you can definitely use it here. So I just use Siegebreaker on pull on the boss when you come down here. You could actually use Siegebreaker on the 3 ads that you see coming down the ramp, but they were walking kind of slow. So, I didn't want to hold it for any longer. when you do come down to this, if you're using the same cooldowns that I'm using and you face the same place, you can actually get a siege breaker off on the boss and probably even on the 3 ads, right? But after this, you do want to save your cooldowns, because as far as how we did it, the next set of ad spawns, we are killing all of those ads, right? So right now I'm holding on to all of my cooldowns, because once the ads comes up after this dribbling Ichor, we're going to AoE the ads really, really hard. Now the ads after that aren't as important for us to kill. We're going to be kind of bursting the boss after that, but we are saving our cooldowns right now. It's a bit harder to do because like my coral stacks aren't really that high on the boss, but it's fine. It's whatever, right? Once all the ads come up, you know, get the whirlwind cleave, get our debuffs on everybody, you know, blooded enemy, right? Rampage, and then dragon's roar and everything. Now the stomp, unfortunately, I didn't know if the tanks were going to move the ads out fast enough, so I just hit the boss instead. But ideally, you move with the other ads, right? Make sure you don't get hit by the stomp, because if you do, you're very likely to die. Aqua Lance, just take it off, you know, as far away from the raid as possible, right? Give people enough room. We generally like to take it to like the back, you know, the left side of the room if possible, because we're taking the boss kind of closer, right? So, you know, as far as you can get away, the better. Right here, just making sure we kill the ads. The most important ads you want to kill in here is the casters and then the Hulk, right? Once those are down, you can see now we're focusing more on just the boss. If you can cleave these ads down, that's fine too, like especially the first set. But after this, you're definitely, especially once we go into execute phase, you're going to see us focusing way more on the boss itself. So right here, unfortunately, I got Ammunitic Splatter relatively early on into the second phase. So I just come here a little bit. Normally, you do want to go back to the same orientation you had in phase 1, and you'll see that for the rest of them, because now that I have this debuff on me, I'm going to have to get out for every time there's going to be a current. But so yeah, so like I was kind of like, if you look at the boss as you were looking at the tank, kind of like top right. So for the rest of the fight, I'll go back to the same place, and that should probably be how everybody does it too. It'll make it easier for your raid, you know, if your orientation is the same in phase 2 and phase 1 in regards to where everybody goes, right? So right here, I'm going to the top right. This is basically close to where I was, except there's a rock now in my plate anywhere. I wanted to go a little bit further, but that's okay. And then right here, get all of our cooldowns. We're gonna blow everything up, but primarily focus on the boss, right? You see all the ads over there? It's okay. We don't have to AoE all those. Just keep DPSing the boss, and then we're gonna eventually kill. I think I do just dragon roar everything for a little bit. Come back here, and then we're generally okay, right? Once we get picked up, I think right now is what, 720. Okay, so I think I actually used my commanding shout one arcane current too late. You are eventually going to be using it, most likely for one of the currents, right? Because it is going to be potentially the place in the fight where there's going to be a lot of raid wide AoE damage. So we're, especially once you get higher amounts, right? Because then it's going to go on everybody. So right here, keep executing the boss down. I think the next arcane current here is when I use my rally too. And of course, for your enrage regen, you generally just want to use it, you know, whenever it's up, right? So right here we get the arcane current. I step in and pull. I didn't want to, but actually it doesn't look like that much happens in the one either. Like the pull, if you need to step in it for a little bit, you know, just to make sure that you're spread out for the current, doesn't look like it does really that much. So we're good to go. This is the last mechanical base to deal with. Make sure you dodge all of these things and DPS bosses as much as you can. You know, we start having people dying, but we got the kill with around 4 people remaining. But yeah, that's it for Orgozoa. As always, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Feel free to subscribe to see more. See ya.